Okay, so if we take a look at our next section, we got our boxes section, info and portfolio. I think we can finish up all three of those, and then all we'll have left are some media queries, and that'll finish it up. So again, we're going to do boxes, info, portfolio, and footer inside of this video. So we'll start with boxes. Class of boxes, so if we take a look at what that is, that's our section tag. Display grid. We're going to set up our columns. So we're going to repeat this. Autofit min max 200 pixels and 1 fraction. (200 pixels, 1 fraction, 200 pixels, 1 fraction, 200 pixels, 1 fraction. So these are going to be our columns. Let's take a look at what that does for us. It puts all 4 of those on the same line. 200, 1 fraction, 200, 1 fraction. They're all fitting on one row because all we defined was the columns. So again, if I take that out, you could see they're in a column format. Bring it back. We got one 200 pixel column, then a fraction, then another 200 pixel, then a fraction. And it all fits on one line. So then now each box, there should be 4 boxes. So we're writing the CSS for 4 different boxes. Some padding on our boxes. And a box shadow. Which finishes that section there. You can see how it responds. Now the info section is next. If we take a look at where that is, class of info is right here. We're going to tell that section to display grid with a grid gap. Set up some columns. We're repeating this 2 times of 1 fraction. So kind of take a look at the markup and what we got going on here. 1 fraction, 1 fraction. So we got an image taking up 1 fraction, and we got the div taking up 1 fraction. So the image takes up half, and the div takes up half. Add some padding then. To make it look a little bit nicer. You can see the extra padding adds in the spacing. It wasn't there before. Now our portfolio section. Take a look at what we're coding here. Here's our portfolio again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 images. Not much is done. I was looking in the wrong spot. Correction. I thought something was off. Tell our portfolio to display grid. Hmm. 20 pixels of grid gap. Set up our columns. On the minimum, there'll be 200 pixels wide. On the maximum, there'll be 1 fraction. And you're doing that as many times as necessary. Now we're going to make the images responsive so they can shrink and grow as needed. Give them a box shadow. Must have a typo. Sure do. Okay, so now they look like a nice grid. So what's happening here is they're going to a 200 pixel minimum, and they're auto fitting on each row. So that's getting them nice, evenly spaced apart with a gap of 20 pixels. It's kind of doing the calculation for us, so that's nice. So each picture is going a minimum of 200 pixels, which is creating this nice little responsive section for us. If you stretch it out, eventually it'll all go on one row as I increase the width of the browser size. So that's our portfolio section. And then the last section before we do the media queries is the footer. So we'll code that in real quick. Don't even need a class of footer, just the footer tag. Add some margin to that, background color. Okay, text our line center on the footer. See, if I zoom out a bunch, you can see all these images fit on one row. When I zoom into 100%, 3 rows. Okay, so that's the main CSS for the site before we add in some media queries.